Welcome everyone. More and more people are joining us in this session. Nice to see you. We are waiting for the others to join, so make yourself comfortable. Get muted, but we invite you to turn on your camera because that way we see whom we are talking to, and it's a bit more interactive and a nice way to also see whether our content is actually landing or whether you think, well, that's not the case. So feel free to do that. And while we are making everyone comfortable in the room, you can already start putting your location into the chat, for example. So from where are you joining? Caroline and myself are joining from Berlin, which is in rainy autumn weather. So please share your locations, especially when it's when there's more sun out, etc. We will start in about 1 to 2 minutes and leave a bit more time for the others to join. Florida, the Sunshine State, lucky you. Vienna is also quite nice. So thanks for the spark of imagination on our side. It's great. Caro, what's the weather like? Oh, I said you were joining from Berlin, but that's not the case, correct?
No, not today. Hamburg, but it is like Berlin today. So gray and windy, as we love it in the north. So
that's true.
Always good to have the best rain jacket ever. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, I would like to start by welcoming you, not just with the topic yet, but with some caretaking remarks. It would be great if you mute yourself, but you are all following the rules already and are all muted, so thank you for that. The second one is feel free to join via camera so we can see your faces. That's always nicer to talk to real persons and not just initials. And the third organizational remark would be that in 30 minutes, you will have survived this session. So be aware, be active. And if you want to be active, feel free to drop your sessions questions into the chat on the right-hand side in this room. So all the people that are in the room are able to see it. That would be highly appreciated. And with that, Laura, I think we can kick it off, correct? Awesome.
Yes, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Then welcome to People Over Perks Live, to our little expert session. We are Caroline and Florian from Talk People, and this session is completely dedicated to HRIS as the single source of truth for all people matters. And after a short introduction, we will jump into the topic. And with that, I introduce Caroline live from Hamburg to the stage, and she is one of 2 of our consulting staff, one of 20, sorry. All these 20 consultants are HR professionals turned consultants. In our whole group, we have more than 100 talkies from senior accountant to CFO, from people, HR admin to chief people officer, all battle proven and serving more than 500 clients by now. We are located in Berlin, in Hamburg, and in Amsterdam, serving whole EMEA region. And why this education session is particularly close to our heart is because we have been partnering with Liebsam for more than 3 years now. So since our inauguration, since our start. And fun fact, Liebsam was even one of our first clients ourselves. So there's a close tie to Liebsam, and we are more than happy to welcome you here to this little session. But let's dive right into our topic, because it's not about us. It's about really speaking about the HRIS world and how to make that really relevant for your business and for your department. And with that, over to Caro.
Hi, also from my side, really happy to be here. And as Florian said, I'm for my heart a people manager, and I'm working as a interim people manager quite often still in my projects. But what I also see quite often is that I'm working with the people managers. And when it comes to HRIS tool, what we all challenge, what I challenge so much, is that we are always providing the same data over and over again for the C-level, for finance managers, and we are spending always hours in complying different kind of spreadsheets so that all the data, finance and the C-level ones, is in there, managing multiple systems quite often so that we get all data in one spreadsheet. And at the end, we are always a little bit worried if it's the right data, if they are compliant, if there is any risk. And then because these questions are always coming nearly at the last second of the day, it's always that it takes a lot of time, and that we are always having not so much time for our actual work, that we are always stuck in administrative work. The view on this challenge from the people perspective, from the people manager. How is it for you, Florian, from the C-level view?
Yeah, from the C-level, because before my actual work at Talk People, I was CHRO for a big German corporation, and before that I was running magazine divisions and newspaper divisions. As you can say, I'm from the news industry, and back then I always was struggling to find the proper people data. I was requesting data, but when I requested it, I was already sure that it would take ages. When the numbers came in, I had to check them. I always doubted them, and then I had the transition to being promoted to CHRO, and felt the pain from the inside perspective. So my perspective on the challenge is really this lack of trust from C-level into people data, into the processes, etc. And what we see at Talk People is that there's stuff to be done, and there's ways how to tackle that. So let's dive deeper into the topic and see what typical scenarios we see out there. And I'm pretty sure that you can relate to these scenarios that we see as well.
Yeah, so typical scenarios we always see is, for example, that finance is asking the people department, like requesting the ESG report, or also asking for other numbers like a report of people with disability in the company. So always numbers that we are providing, but actually numbers they could also see by the dashboards the HRIS tool is providing. And also what we're seeing is that managers are knocking on our door and always asking for their people-related data when it comes to their direct. So how's the vacation balance of my employees? What are the salaries at the moment? So always asking this kind of simple questions, but they're always asking you, and they are not looking into the system.
And by that, you can already kind of feel the tension on your plate, and like being thrown out of your focus zone, of your deep work zones, answering silly requests by managers that they could come up with their own, right? Or on their own. So I can almost grasp your tenseness regarding that scenario.
Yeah. The same with the C-level when they are asking for personal cost data instead of looking into the dashboards you're having in your HRIS tools or you're providing via spreadsheets. So these kind of scenarios we always felt by ourselves as a people managers, but also see quite often within the companies we are joining as consultants. And the solutions we always offering then to our clients is that we say it's really important that you have a sustainable, high quality data in your HRIS tool. and that you use this HRIS tool as the central heart and or the central source of all your data, as you can, for example, with the Leapsum HRIS tool. And also to instant insights through all this centralized dashboard, so that you provide their real-time data, because it's the data of your people that you can provide from there, and they are insightful and they're manageable and accessible for all the stakeholders you have in your company. But
maybe just one addition to that, because these instant insights are not only available to management or HR or finance, etc., but also for the employees themselves. So when I was CHO at Axel Springer, we were asked a lot of questions by the employees, which are nowadays simple lookups in modern days HRIS solutions. So not a single person in HR needs to be involved for the answers for that. So that's also a powerful thing. And while we speak to some of our colleagues here also in this webinar and across the globe, they say, well, that's like basic knowledge, but we see it so many times that we still work with paper files, with manual processes, etc. So really putting it into one centralized HRIS is really a big step forward to a lot of companies.
Yeah, and at the end, it makes your life easier, and also all the decisions that are made smarter and faster for all the stakeholders who can see their own data in the HRIS tool, but then also can take the data from the HRIS tool they need.
And I just want to underline this specific point once more, because it's we've been in the wave where we turned HR into people and culture, into people and talent, etc. And with that change of the name or the branding of our departments came also the promise to our employees that we would take care of them, that we would spend more time working with the humans in our organization and not kind of captivated in stupid processes, manual work, etc., but really leveraging our work in order to have more fulfilling workplaces where we have cultures that actually foster performance, etc. So really underlying that point once again, that it's about freeing up space in your timeline and really freeing you for the work that you are set out to do in the first place.
And how we do this, or what you can see, one example we thought it's really nice from the dashboards that Leapsum has, is that you can then give your stakeholder, like the managers, access, and they can see their own data here and quite good dashboards, like when was my person absent and what kind of absence had my directs, and also to see it in a more table way. So it's really good insight, and they don't have to knock on your door to ask for it. They can go into the system, see it really clear, and can also find the right answer for them if they had a gut feeling like the person was quite often sick or absent, so that they can see it with the numbers. And what we are doing when we are talking with our clients about it is like that we are always saying you need a good roadmap to put your HRIS tool as the single source of truth and of the heart of your company. So that means that you have to include, first of all your key stakeholders, because you have to understand what are their needs. So what kind of information do they need, and how can they look into the system? And you really have to think about, like, your HRIS tool is the center of your heart, and it's not only your tool as an admin person, it's also the tool for all the others. So also the tool for the finance department to see the numbers, also the tool for the C-level to see the numbers, also the tool for the managers, and as Florian said before, also for the employees in themselves, so that they can see their own data, can change the data, and that this data can be used then to make great decisions. So always think about like who should be involved when you set up your HRIS tool or when you rebuild your HRIS tool, and what kind of data should be seen and what kind of data is accessible for who. So you have to, after you talk with your stakeholders and have a vision for it, you have to design it and design your HRIS tool. So you should make clear so what kind of data are accessible for which kind of groups, and who can see something and what can they see, and is this compliant, and then also enable them, skill them so that they really go into the system and use the system. Because what we quite often also see is an HRIS tool, it's there, all the data is in there, and still the finance manager is writing an email to the HR department, hey, can you provide me this and that data? So you have to enable and train your people so that they know where to click in the HRIS tool, where they can find the dashboards, how they are using them, and that they also know that they can't make something wrong in the system and find all the data they need.
But also, I want to spend some time on underlining that it's really important to enable your stakeholders even before you start the journey. So it's all about educating them what's possible in this technical world, and where technological progress is really on steroids some days. So one question I had, for example, from a client of ours that he asked us was like, yeah, would it be possible to give a green light to a vacation inquiry in the system? And you're like, yeah, that's basically like that's like so minimal requirement that nowadays you shouldn't be talking about that anymore. But for that person asking the question, that was a funky thing of the future, right? So it's all about educating them, like almost like instilling or installing a vision of the possible future you can have, so that the finance department is eager to introduce the HRIS, so that the managers are eager for the new system to be actually employed or rolled out, so that they can like spend their time in a more easy, more profound way. So that's really interesting to see.
Yeah, thanks, Florian. Yeah, I think especially underlining, taking them from the first step into the topics, and bringing them into the room so that you can all discuss together what's important for who. So our takeaways for today should be from our side to you that avoiding data silos is of course not good, and you need a system where all your data is in there, because if you don't have a system where all data is in there, also AI can't help you to do something with the data, because when you have not the right data on one place, it's also really hard to work or use AI so that they are helping you, so and make better and faster decisions. We always see a good HRIS tool, the center of the heart is important. And use central HR dashboards. As you saw before in the example, Nipsam has great dashboards in their HRIS tool. The most HRIS tools have great dashboards, so use them. Look if you can add something if you need something else. Make it to your tool that you can use the best way you need it. And as we both already said and underlined, contact your stakeholder for the interview. So if you have a HRIS tool at the moment, start right away. So talk to them 30 minutes, define with them what kind of numbers they need. If they have any question about the HRIS tool, what are the challenges to use this tool at the moment, so that you understand what are their needs and how you can support them with them, and also how you can bring this into the onboardings of the new managers, of an onboarding of a finance manager, etc. in your organization. And if you're starting and you want to use an HRIS tool, it's also so important to take this 30 minutes upfront as an interview to understand what are their needs. And one takeaway from our side, what we see in our daily business, is switching HRIS tools is not a pain as a lot of people thinking. So it's getting easier when you forward, and every day it's getting easier also because you can import and export your data, and you should always look that you have the right tool on your side that you can make the best decisions and the best way to work. And if you have any questions on that, you can always ask us, of course.
But that's also something, and we can go to the next chart already. That's something that is rapidly changing, right? Like 2, 3, 4 years ago, everyone was kind of stuck with their HRIS because they went through the pain of introducing a new HRIS. Everyone felt, well, it was horrible. It took so much time. It was a big budget bummer. But these times are over, right? So it's really, I wouldn't say easy, but it's much easier than before to switch your HRIS. It's much easier to turn into a new system where data is organized and where you have really the foundation of your people department, right? Because with that data, with that foundation, it's easier to do a remarkable job. And that's what we are out to help you with. And Leapsum is such a tool to go that extra way and to enable you and your team members to lead excellent people and talent initiatives, etc. And with that, and 9 more minutes before you need to leave this room in order to pick other topics and get into the discussion with other deep dive sessions and on the main stage, etc., we invite you to a short Q&A session. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We are more than happy to answer them. No dirty questions though, so only that are clean, and you may ask funny questions and we are happy to do them. But while you are typing, maybe we can tap into some typical questions we see. Caroline, do you have something on your mind that come up pretty often?
Something that's always asked is if you can have good permission groups in your HRIS tool, so that the people who are going into the tool only see what they should see. And this is what we see quite often. What's always worrying a little bit at the beginning when we're talking about, hey, take all your stakeholders into the calls, and so that we can discuss what kind of numbers do they need. And don't be worried about it, because all the HRIS tools have really good permission rules, so you can make it quite easily to give only the permissions, only the data to the people they should see it. Also, when it comes to the manager role, they can only see the data from their directs and not the data from others. So don't be worried about it. That's quite easy handle.
Yeah, one question I would put into the Q&A is that we are oftentimes asked, like, how long does it take to implement a tool like Leapsum, HRIS, and others, etc.? That always depends. I mean, in the end, we are consultants, so we need to use the consultant phrase. It depends at least once. But the times to go live, the times to actually welcome all your employees on a new HRIS really has come down to a very limited amount of time. So for companies between 1 to 200 employees, it's rather 1 to 2 months. For larger accounts in our systems, it's sometimes only 3 months. And we have seen quite a lot of projects where we needed to finish at a certain deadline and have cut the implementation phase really to a minimum of weeks, and have seen a great impact by doing that, because the HRIS landscape and in terms of Leapsum, for example, they've made it quite easy to actually switch. They have come with a lot of experience up front, a lot of crafting the processes, the best practices, etc., into the system, so that it's really easy to switch and actually go live. So that's I've said it 3 times now, and don't worry, there won't be a 4th time. But I find it really interesting because I can remember it vividly. It must have been 8 years ago. I inherited an HR department of 50 people. They were not talking to each other. They were not trusting each other because they were in a political or inter-company political war almost. But the only thing that they were all sharing is that the one solution we needed as a company was a new HRIS. And there was this meeting with 18 people around the table. Everyone was sure we need a new HRIS, and this would solve all our problems. So all the people that usually don't talk to each other were now all arguing the same way. It was so interesting because there was payroll, there was talent development, there was admin, everyone, all these different functions, and they were all sure that this tool would solve it all. The tool would have cost many millions. The implementation would still be ongoing. So that was the old days, and now things have changed for the better, and it's really nice. Come on, guys, you must give us at least one question. Otherwise, we will spend the whole day in this room waiting for this one question. So be kind and drop us a note. Otherwise, we'll be sad forever. Still no question.
Maybe something else that we are quite often see as well is that when it comes to implementing HRIS tools, that everybody is a little bit worried if they can make it in their time. But I think we all have to stop thinking like then that one HRIS tool is always finished, because you will work with the tool always, and there will come some new cool additions to it, and some new workflows, for example, or your organization have some different needs, so it will be never finished. So always think about like, okay, what's the minimum we need? What kind of numbers do we need in there? What kind of data do we need? How should it look like at the moment? And then you can go onwards and work on it. And I think no question yet. So maybe we answered also everything, Florian.
Exactly.
I think you were so clear. Yeah, there are no additional questions, I think, and we're almost over time. So yeah, thank you, Caro and Florian, for that presentation. For me, it was very insightful as well. I learned a lot. So yeah, thanks to you, and yeah, thanks.
Have a nice day.
Have a wonderful conference, and make sure that the time is well spent, and enjoy your conference day.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.